I have an amazing guest today. His name is Curtis McCoy, and he has triumphed over terminal brain cancer. It's obviously not, he's still here. So, that's why I say terminal, but he's still here. Terminal brain cancer diagnosis and is living with type 1 diabetes. Curtis embodies resilience and determination, obviously. He is a personal branding expert and motivational speaker who inspires countless individuals all around the world. Curtis also serves as the president of Newswire magazine, which is really cool. Today, we're going to talk about his remarkable journey and hear his story, which is extraordinary, of overcoming adversity. Welcome, Curtis, to the show. Hello, good morning. Welcome, Curtis. Appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you, Jeff. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man. So, first thing I got to say is you never know who you're going to meet and when and where you're going to meet them, because you and I met at probably one of the most unlikely, like who knew, right? Like me personally, I don't believe there's anything as accidents, right? So like we met on purpose. Like there was a reason that we met, but it was at a conference, and it was like, it's so crazy. You don't know who you're going to meet. And it was such a chance encounter, but I'm so glad we did. And I'm so glad that Tani, had you there. And anyway, it was pretty awesome. So,
and by the way, we're getting your video edited right now from the conference, and your
nice.
Speaking video is just absolutely phenomenal. You did a great job, Jeff.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah. I'll just throw that out there. Yeah. It was called the Healing Conference. Tani Lee Larson is a friend of mine, and she was putting on the conference, and she invited me to speak, which was pretty cool. And yeah, it was an honor. It was amazing. So I'm so glad that it's turning out well. And thank you for doing what you're doing to put all that together, because that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see it. I'm excited. So, by the way, we are about that time of year. Happy Groundhog Day, everybody. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Groundhog Day, but hopefully your Groundhog Day is just wake up, have the day, and go to sleep, and then you wake up on February 3rd. We don't want to have we don't need to have a Bill Murray Groundhog Day, okay? So, but Curtis, you're phenomenal, man. Ever since I met you, I keep thinking, man, how this guy really honestly shouldn't be here. But you're incredible. You have, not only are you living with type 1 diabetes, but you were also diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, which, I mean, obviously, here you are to talk about it, but tell us a story about the brain cancer and discovery and diagnosis of all of that.
So that was kind of a crazy story. I had, in my entire life, I've been an entrepreneur. I think I started my first company at 13, or my first business at 13 years old. Nice. I've just been, in my free time, I work, for years, I've worked 80 to 100 hours a week. I'm doing less now, trying to focus on just enjoying life and spend time with family and stuff. I was running a cosmetic medical laser clinic. We actually launched that up in Evergreen, and I had a pharmaceutical company. I'm not a doctor or a pharmacist, but had a doctor working for me, and launched our own pharmaceutical company, manufacturing bioidentical injectable research peptides. Kind of a cool thing there. Had some really sharp, just top of their class kind of experts between doctors and compounding pharmacists working for us. And I got diabetes at 27 months old.
Oh,
pancreas failed. And so, I would have seizures when my blood sugar got too low, but I got to where pretty soon I was having 7 to 10 seizures a week. I'm also running all these different businesses. I had the pharmaceutical company, the cosmetic medical laser clinic, Christian clothing company, and some other businesses. One was supplying nutritional supplements to gyms and stuff like that. I had a little warehouse and the forklift and all the junk there that we were getting set up. But when I'd get too low, I'd pass out and have a seizure, or just have a seizure. The last big seizure that I remember, we had sponsored an MMA fighting event at the Denver Coliseum, and there's thousands of people. The place is just absolutely packed. We had Dwayne Ludwig, who I think had the fastest knockout in UFC history, and he was one of my sponsored athletes. Andy Hammond, the guy that they did he's an IFBB pro bodybuilder that they did they made the Disney Incredibles movie after him and his family, used them, wearing the spandex suits and stuff to actually do the cartoon movie.
That's so cool.
But so Andy's there. He drove up from Colorado Springs and tore his shirt off and did the posing routine. Had my company name on his shirt, toured off to the posing routine there. Then they called me up, and the announcer called me up. Hey, just want to thank him, Curtis McCoy, for being here, for putting on this incredible event. Couldn't have done this without him, this whole thing. Curtis, hey, come in the ring if you would real quick. So I'm probably the only guy in the entire Coliseum wearing a suit and tie. I get in there. The announcer is thanking me. So I'm in there with the athletes, and he's telling everybody, okay, go visit Curtis's booth as soon as as soon as he steps out of the ring here, head back and check out his booth. So do that. I step out of the ring, start walking towards my booth, and pass out, have a seizure, pee my pants in front of thousands of people. That was the first time that had happened. But so now I'm having a seizure, banging my face on the ground, and so it split my eye. I'm bleeding, got black eye and stuff. Get back there, and so I spent a considerable amount of money having this event at the Denver Coliseum. At that time, I was just going, I'm obviously not going to stand around after I'd peed my pants in a suit. And so I take off and, just pack up my stuff and leave there thinking, why, I'm constantly having these seizures and stuff and just basically feeling pretty worthless.
Yeah.
So that was one kind of embarrassing one that a lot of people might identify with, just having problems like that with whether it's brain cancer or whatever, where there's stuff that can make you feel kind of worthless. But then I was having more and more seizures, and pretty soon I woke up one morning in my apartment and had half of my body didn't work. So I got up and I'm trying to roll over and, having a hard time figuring out how to get rolled over there. I was bodybuilding at the time, so I'm all swole up and, lifting real heavy and stuff. But I rolled out of bed on the floor, dragged myself with the one arm that worked into my kitchen and grabbed my cell phone charger, grabbed the cord grabbed the phone by the cord and pulled it off onto the floor and called my mom, who lived in another state, called her, letting her know, hey, I had a seizure, I'm too low. But this time when I tried to talk, I said, chicken, pituitary, waffle, phone charger, just random gibberish. She's saying, hey, Curtis, I think you're too low. You sounds like you had a seizure. And no, I'm trying to say, I've had a snack. I'm trying to get going here. But at that time, I realized I couldn't communicate. So she called paramedics, called 911. Paramedics showed up. And when they got to my house, I'm still, I'd got myself stood up, kind of balancing on one foot. And when they got there, they're asking me, what's going on. They're trying to give me the glucagon or whatever shots, and trying to tell them, listen, no, I'm just diabetic. I had a seizure. All I need is, give me a little bit of sugar and I'll be good to go. But same thing, chicken, pituitary, phone charger, waffle, just getting mad. And so the paramedic finally, seemed like a new guy, young guy, hands me a notebook. And so I'm trying to write with one hand that's still not really working right. It's just, I could barely hold on the pencil. Yeah. So I start writing out words, trying to tell him, I'm insulin dependent diabetic. I got too low. I had a seizure. I just need some sugar and I'll be good. I write out this whole message, hand it back to him. The guy looks at the paper and kind of confused, and he shows the other older paramedic there. And they look, he said, have him try one more time. So he hands it back. I start writing the exact same random string of gibberish. Oof. I know what I'm trying to say, but just the random words coming out. Hand it back. He looks at it again. The older paramedic said, get him down, lay him down, put him on a stretcher. He's having a stroke. He said I thought it was a TIA stroke. So they, I'm trying to fight as much as I can with half my body working. Yeah. Thinking, no, you idiots, I'm just too low. Just give me some sugar. Come to find out, it wasn't a stroke. It was, I got sent over to Swedish Medical Center in Denver, and woke up a couple of days later from a coma. And my mom was there. She had heard my stepdad flown in or driven in or whatever. And I woke up as one of the oncologists had his hand on my mom's shoulder, telling her, so sorry, we've got, he has got an absolute maximum of 90 days, 0% chance he'll survive 90 days, but you've got, 60, 90 days max, and got a malignant glioblastoma brain cancer. This type of cancer at the level that it's at, there is 0% chance of survival 5 years. He will not be here in 90 days. So then this doctor is telling my mom to take me to Disneyland, go make some memories. And here I am. Like I said, at the time I'm bodybuilding. So I'm laying there, 252 pounds, vein going up my abs, all swole up, hearing this doctor, and also I'm running all these businesses going, I don't want to go to flipping Disneyland. I want to get back and get working and quit making my mom cry. Seriously. But so he's telling her this. And, so I start realizing, okay, there's kind of a problem. And I also had lost the previous 9 months of my memory. I mean, I could not tell you anything that had happened Oh, and here's another crazy thing. Michael Alexander and Carol Semple. I think she was a Miss Fitness Olympia 6 times.
Oh wow.
So she's like
Okay.
most winning Miss Fitness Olympia in history at the time. I remembered seeing them in magazines, like the old Flex magazine and stuff
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'd read when I was a kid, but I had no clue that I'd ever met him. So I'm trying to tell my mom, like, "Hey, holy cow, it's Michael Alexander. That's Carol Simple." Excited. Again, just kind of random gibberish coming out. And then there was also a girl in there that I remembered seeing at the gym. This
Uh-huh.
pretty model girl that I knew who she was, but I had
Yeah.
no clue that I'd ever even had the courage to talk to her, let alone that we'd been dating. And so
Oh.
she's talking. I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing here? It's good to see you." Kind of trying to spit out the words. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that was long story, but kind of a long way to figure out that I had the brain cancer.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's a heck of a journey to figure that out. I mean, that's a rough diagnosis anyway. I mean, and then to have it misdiagnosed with all these other things, yeah, that's brutal, man. Well, let me just throw this out there for the audience watching because I'm excited that I have you here because I want the audience to know that if they have questions, audience, if you have questions about brain cancer, about anything that you hear today, if you like, here's your guy right here. This is the expert, and he is the man. And I reach out. We're gonna have contact info for him, and reach out to him if you have questions. If you have questions about this, if you have questions about what we talk about later, about his company and what he does now, that's why we're here, is to be able to get the word out and for you to be able to contact him. So don't be shy about that. So
And if it's all right
um,
to say,
yeah.
we used some the treatment that we got was, they told us in America there is 0% chance of survival. Doctors said they wanted to do chemo, radiation, and brain surgery.
Oh man.
But then one of the doctors working for me with the pharmaceutical company said if I got brain cancer, if I got cancer, I would not let them treat me with the American Medical Association approved treatments. He said that pays the bills, but it is not. So people in America typically do not die of cancer; they die of the treatment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're asking, what do you do? What the heck is the plan here? And he's like, I don't know. I know there's a clinic in Germany. There's some
Oh yeah.
other stuff in Mexico you can do, but I would not let them do the chemo radiation cut into your brain. Just
Oh
said,
yeah.
even if you survive, you're going to basically be a vegetable. You may be able to hear and understand what people are saying to you, but you're going to be not able
Yeah.
to communicate back with them. Um,
Yeah.
so my
Oh,
family took me to Tijuana, Mexico, to a clinic called the Hoxie Biomedical Clinic, and
wow.
her Hoxie Biomedical Center. I only agreed to go because my mom was. It was basically trying to make my mom feel like we did everything we could. Like
Sure.
I had kind of accepted the fact, okay, you're going to die. We're done here. But so we go down there, that everybody's warning us, especially American doctors are warning, it's Tijuana's dirty. It's not regulated. It's just as dangerous. Besides, if you survive the treatment, there's going to be, there's gangs and drugs and whatever. And
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I'm a 252-pound guy I'm not worried about the gang guys unless somebody comes and stabs me or something. But
Yeah.
I'm like,
Um,
You've already guaranteed 100% chance that I will not survive if I do your treatment. What else do? I'll go to Mexico and make my mom feel like we tried.
right.
But it actually worked, to my surprise. So
Well, to your surprise, to the doctor's surprise, probably they probably didn't know what to do. Well, they probably explained it away, honestly. But well, this is so common with so many people that I have on the show that say, okay, medical wanted to go this route, but we went this route, and it turned out so much different or so much better, or maybe there was a combination of the two that made a difference. So yeah, this is so common. This sounds so familiar, you know and I'm so glad that there's so many people out there that I've had the fortune of talking to that are in that line of thinking, because more people need to hear this. So I'm so glad that we've been able to start down this road with it. But that's a lot. Like, how did your mom, like, she sounds amazing. Like, how did she handle that? Like, that's got to be just a punch in the face.
yeah, and that's kind of that's a crazy thing getting into. I don't own the cell phone stores anymore, but that's one of the things. As we went to Tijuana for the treatment, just had a pretty crazy. So I lost the ability to communicate for a short time there.
Hmm.
Completely lost my sense of direction, lost my sense of time. And so when I woke up, I went from like owning all these different companies. We were sponsoring events at the Denver Coliseum with, I have 18 bodybuilders following me around in my company logo shirts and snap my fingers and say we're sitting over here, and just kind of felt like I had the world by the horns there. But went from that to just bought a new motorcycle, had um, living the life as a young guy, kind of feeling like I was the man, and then woke up, could not find my way home. I mean, I literally had to move to Crawford, Colorado, sleeping in there on the living room of their place. They didn't have a spare bedroom, so I'm
Oh,
sleeping on
wow.
the living room floor on an inflatable air mattress that went flat every night. Just lost everything instantly, and going from that to and I'm thinking I'm believing what the doctors said,
Yeah.
because here I am with being in the American medical system with my own businesses. I didn't
Yeah.
trust this Tijuana thing and thought this was just a cheesy, kind of a hokey thing that, like I said, just agreed to do it to make my mom feel better. But
Sure.
um, so I'm there and just basically listening to the American doctors going, okay, I'm going to be dead in a couple months here. So I started writing my first book there, just kind of I was hoping to get it done before I died so that my mom could have something to sit on this coffee table and kind of remember me by.
Wow.
Um, had all that going on, and then my mom, rather than let me lay around and feel sorry for myself that I was dying, decided to. She started talking to me about, you've had all these different businesses and stuff. What do you want to do next? Do you want to open another a weight loss clinic here? Do you want to open a HCG clinic? Could we do another pharmaceutical company in Crawford or Hotchkiss, Colorado, middle of nowhere? Like, said if everybody in the entire town wanted to use me as, needed my service, we could probably do okay. But other than that, this is way too small of a place. Didn't have the funds to start doing the internet distribution and stuff again. So my mom was like, well, what about repairing cell phones? You always liked repairing stuff. And so I printed up some flyers repairing broken iPhone screens. Back like with the iPhone, I think it was the 3G, 3GS.
Sure.
Watched a YouTube video on taking a suction cup and sucking the screen off and replaced them with stuff there. But
Nice.
started repairing phones and computers and things like that. And that little business started blowing up. And pretty soon, going, okay, maybe I should open my own cell phone store. So got licensed as a reseller of a couple of different prepaid wireless things.
Come on.
Rented a little house in Hotchkiss, Colorado, little 3-bedroom place. Talked to the owner. The place had just tore up. Floor was collapsed, so we
Oh,
had to
no.
crawl under. I mean, there's a big hole in the floor on them, so we crawled under, put jacks and put the rocks underneath of it with wood
Oh,
braces and stuff, trying to build up this 110-year-old house.
oh, man.
Knocked out the wall between one of the front bedroom and the living room, and turned that into our retail store. And the owner of the house is like, she's going, whatever you can do to fix the place up, because it was basically just a junk heap at the time. But so we turned
Yeah.
this into our first retail store,
Wow.
and as it started growing, kept going along until we finally, just started exploding. We had crazy amount of people coming from Hotchkiss, Paonia, Crawford, Delta, coming down to our prepaid service, and then ended up launching our own telecommunications company, what's called a mobile virtual network operator. We had licenses with Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon.
Oh, my goodness.
Launched Boss Cellular, and years later we were able to buy bestcellular.com, which is, I think it was $10,000 for the domain name. So didn't have the budget originally, but as it started growing,
Sure.
actually trademarked the term best cellular. So
Nice.
I still own the trademark on the term best cellular. Like if Verizon wants to say they've got the best cellular service, they have to figure out a different creative way or pay us
Or
less.
pay you a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Wow. Oh man. Okay. Well, so clearly, I'm going to just state the painfully obvious right now. Clearly, the terminal part of the cancer diagnosis was incorrect. You didn't accept that. You went to Mexico because you know what? A lot of people with things going on like that do it just to satisfy somebody, or just to, this is our last resort, why
Yeah.
not, let's give it a shot, what do we have to lose? Sometimes those are the ones that really pan out, though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's happened for me a couple times over the last 8 or 9 years. The traditional medical world kind of just gave up on me and said, well, this is what I guess you're just destined to deal with this now, or you're going to have headaches now forever, or whatever. And I said,
Yeah.
no. And I started looking elsewhere and found something else. So I totally totally get it. I wish there were more people out there like you that did that, because I think there's more things out there that can help than anybody would ever consider, because the medical industry has been so good at saying we are the only option here. So,
Yeah.
in America. So well done, by the way, and kudos to your mom too for being courageous and saying no, come down here, let's see if we can figure
Yeah.
this out. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what a
That was
support system, man. That's insane. I love
well, and she's also the reason that I kept launching new businesses, and the reason
it.
that I own Newswire magazine and these things now
Yeah.
was because I was planning on laying around and dying, just kind of writing my book and hopefully getting it published before in time to have it on the coffee table.
Oh, come on.
But she's one of those that does not. She's always looking at the positive,
Yeah.
and she's like,
Love
okay, do this. Everything that I was doing, she's like, okay, making progress. Look, you're not having seizures as often now. You only have
it.
them once or twice a week. Um,
Uh,
but so yeah, that inspiration and motivation she was giving me to keep going was huge. And that's one thing too. I think a lot of people could do a lot better with,
yeah.
when you're dealing with a terminal diagnosis or some kind of a crazy diagnosis like that,
Hmm.
where you're like, hey, life sucks. I've got nothing to look forward to here.
Yeah.
Start finding stuff to look forward to. Start finding reasons to be excited about the next day. That's a
Right.
huge thing to help you heal.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have something to look forward to, I mean, if there's, well, hope, it's hope. I mean, honestly, I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it is. The hope of, even if it doesn't work, even if you started that business and it completely bombed, at least your mom probably would have said, you know what, next, let's try this,
Yeah.
and it's that hope of the future, of hope of what could be,
Yeah.
and that's what man, I've never met her, but I love her already. She's fantastic. So,
Yeah. She's awesome. If you speak at
uh,
our event in Grand Junction this next summer here,
yeah,
she'll probably be here as a guest.
here in Grand Junction, she'll be.
She came to the last event in Grand. She lives up here like near me.
Oh, okay.
So her and my stepdad came to the last event, but I'm sure they'll be here for the Grand
Nice.
Junction event.
Oh, cool. Oh, that would be awesome. Oh man, I would love to meet her someday. She sounds phenomenal. So speaking of, so you just mentioned something, Newswire magazine. So let's talk about that, because I mean, this story. I mean, like I said, man, anybody, 95% of the population out there. Well, I shouldn't say that. Probably enough people out there probably would have just been like, oh, that's my diagnosis. Okay, but you have created so many cool things for so many people, and one of them is this right here. If
Appreciate you dropping the link.
Absolutely, man. That's the only way people are gonna, that's the best way to find it. Just boom, there it is. So everybody go here, check this out. But tell us about it. Tell us what you're doing here.
So that as the phone company took off and just absolutely exploded, we ended up with I owned a few retail stores, had over 250,000 customers a month hitting our website for the phone company.
Wow.
Things just absolutely blowing up.
Yeah.
I was working 80 to 100 hours a week. My mom was managing one of the stores, absolutely miserable. We ran this thing for 10 years, just working our guts out. In 2018, so we started the phone company in 2010. 2018, one of my employees, we had some extra income from the business that
Mhm.
basically we were on track to do $986 million a year in revenue with the phone company.
Wow.
Revenue sounds better than profit. We were when you're making pennies a customer.
Yeah.
I mentioned the revenue because it's embarrassing to say how low the profits were on that much money. Um,
That's all right. Roll with it. It's cool.
but
Yeah.
I had an employee that was just this brain surgeon, smart kid. That
Yeah.
he's one of those guys that anything you come up with an idea for, I'd say, hey, what about what if I could build an app that did this? And off the top of his head, he's kind of like a savant, where he can tell you from memory, just start telling you character by character what the exact code was to make a website
What?
or whatever, do different things.
Come on.
Absolutely insane, smart. Um,
Yeah.
he and he could have made an absolute killing, except he just did not like people. So I had him working as a retail employee at one of my stores there,
Oh,
um,
oh
but
man.
didn't like people, and so made it tough for him to do business.
Yeah.
He come up one day and he knew that we had this massive tax liability. He says, "Curtis, hey, Newswire's for sale." This is in 2018. Newswire's for sale. This press release distribution company. You've got to buy Newswire. Like, he's talking about what's the idea with the company and stuff. And
Yeah.
like, I'm working 80 to 100 hours a week. I do not need another company. especially a press release distribution company. I've got no experience in that.
Yeah.
He's like, the price on this domain, price on this website right now is absolutely, it's 1/100th what the value of the site actually is, or what the value of the business is.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, and you said you need to spend some money, you know, this would be a good thing. We could launch another thing. If it fails, if everything goes to heck here,
Yeah.
that's something you're either investing in advertising, investing in another business, or
Sure.
paying the government in taxes. So like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, let's buy it. But now this is your baby. I don't want to have to build this thing. So he got to started working with my developer that I've had working for me for years and years with the other companies and stuff. Started building it out, just started absolutely blowing up. And we're getting press release submissions, which I figured out was more work to process than the phone company customers were. And going, okay, this sucks. Just bought
What have
another
we
job
gotten
here.
ourselves into? Yeah.
Yeah. But I got invited out to an event in Hollywood Hills with Rhonda Swan and a bunch of different celebrity
Nice.
folks at this, like big house party thing out there
Yeah.
for a book lunch. And so I mentioned the PR company. I sent over a link, and her husband, I think we were charging, it was like $2,000 for the top press release. And I sent over a link but I had zeroed out and created a custom coupon code saying, hey, thanks for inviting me. I'd love to be a guest at I'm glad you invited me as a guest at your event.
Sure.
I created a coupon code where it was 100% discount. So basically, I gave him a $2,000 press release for free.
Nice. Yeah.
Her husband, Brian, deleted the discount code, went ahead and paid it. You say, hey, this is massive value. You're not charging enough. So, and they're massive. They're big PR expert. Their whole business is PR.
Nice.
So they do PR for every celebrity, movie star, whatever you can think of, political figures.
Yeah.
But so with him deleting the thing and paying me the price instead of just taking it for free, I said, okay, there's something here. And so we started, still, I was not wanting to grow the business at all because it was way too much work. But I was realizing we're taking all these press releases and distributing stories of, we're filtering out the very top best stories, whether it's news, personal development, entrepreneurship, whatever, and sending these stories over to magazines, newspapers, radio shows, TV shows, podcasts, whatever, and letting them, now they're taking and publishing stories as actual news articles or magazine articles. Nice. They're making the money. I'm doing all the work. They're making the money off of it. And so talked to my developer saying, hey, what would it take? I'm figuring, okay, $200,000 or $300,000 probably to launch a magazine that was actually, serious distribution. And so what would it take? What's the time frame? What, 6 months? How long? He said, well, if you could, this little developer in India that I've had working for me for like 10 years has said, he goes, well, if you'll let me hire 2 or 3 additional developers, we can have this done in probably 10 days.
Whoa.
Going, okay, cool. Whatever the budget is, let's do it.
What?
And so they got to work on it, and it was a little longer than 10 days, but by the time I got to the event in Hollywood Hills, the magazine was up and running live, phenomenal distribution. I mean, syndicated to every social network, just an absolute crazy platform. So we got there and talking to the folks at this event. The first one I show in Rhonda, I'm like, okay, these guys are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, 50 plus grand on a lot of magazines. I said, okay, what do you think about being featured? And she's, well, let's, what's the price? Actually, let's not talk about costs. I'll just trade you a featured article in USA Today, which is a $15,000 spot. If you could put me on the cover, I'll just trade you straight across this $15,000 spot. I'm going, okay, I'm charging $1,995. Just traded that for a $15,000 editorial. And
looks like she was valuing it more than you were.
Same thing. And we're still doing that price because I want to make it accessible to every, any entrepreneur, motivational speaker, podcast host.
Yeah.
So I kept the price low because I'm still making a little money off the lower price. But it was cool to see somebody that's in that business go, hey, if you'll be willing to trade this $15,000 spot, I'll do it. So
that is huge. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it. Okay. So this is like the story. I love this story, your story, because it's you were willing to just lay down and die, and you're here you are, doing all of this, and thanks, Mom. By the way,
Yeah.
and oh my gosh, I can't believe it. This has got to be one of the coolest turnaround stories ever. But I love it. I love it. This is so cool. Okay, so I'm not sure where to go from here. Your story is so cool. I gotta ask though. I'm just gonna throw this out there, and then we can see where it goes. But given everything that has been going on, a lot of people that we've had on this show have gone through horrendous things. With invisible conditions and different things that they've experienced in their life. And you are such an inspiration. And I gotta ask because there's probably still days that are tough, right? There's always tough days.
Seizures kind of suck.
Yeah, yes, they do. I've not had any like what you're talking about. I have a little more minor version of it, but no, none of it is fun.
Yeah.
And so yeah, some days are better than others, obviously. And on those days that are the others that aren't fun, how do you find hope?
So I'll say I don't know if I want to open up a whole other can of worms here,
That's all right.
but I grew up in a rough situation. I'm not sure if you'd heard the story or not, but about my dad. I had a real abusive dad. At one point, had backhanded me. I'm hearing you're a waste of skin, you're a waste of oxygen, those kind of things as I grew up. At one point, had backhanded me, knocked me down beside on the bathroom floor there, and I'm like 13 years old, crying on the floor, and he tells me to goes in his room, comes back with a .357 revolver, spins it, slaps it closed, put it on the counter, told me to do the world a favor, and one of the biggest things for me, I'm like, I had zero self-worth, zero self-esteem, just going, okay, if my own dad is telling me to kill myself, what use do I have in the world? But one thing I did, I started sneaking out. We got $1.75 a day for lunch, for school lunch back. That's probably tells you how old I am. But
Yeah.
I would spend 25 cents on either a cup of Jello or some cottage cheese or whatever, and then I would save the other $1.50, and just got cash in an envelope. And so I'd save that, and then after I'd done that for a few weeks, I was trying to save up the money to be able to run away, but $1.50 a day isn't really enough of a budget to move out on your own.
Can't really run very far on that. Yeah.
So I'd use that money to write my mom letters, buy stamps and write my mom letters and stuff. But I started sneaking out of school during lunch break, and I'd run down to the local used bookstore. And I got down there the first day, just asking them, I want a book. I'm trying to find a book to make me not be a bad person. Like how do I be a better person? And so the person at the bookstore, I brought a copy with me to Colorado Springs, but I've still got my original copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Yes. But that was one that, they're expecting me to look for, or they thought I should be looking for a, comic book or something like that. I was just trying to figure out at the time I was going to read the book and decide whether I should kill myself or not. Like I knew I didn't want to be that kind of I didn't want to be the example that I was growing up with.
Yeah.
So I read How to Win Friends and Influence People, started going through it with markers and highlighters, and then I'd sneak out and run down again and get the next personal development book, because that first book kind of let me see you don't have to be the same example that you're growing up with. So I read book after book, like the was it Richest Salesman in Babylon, or the
Richest Man in Babylon,
Babylon,
Greatest Salesman in the World,
all kinds of different books that just every book I could get my hands on, started figuring out, hey, not only is this helping me figure out how to be a better person where people actually like me and I'm figuring I've got some value, but there's a lot that I can learn, and I can really start helping people with this. So that was probably the biggest thing for me as far as a motivation. Now I listen to a ton of audiobooks and podcasts, and love speaking at events, going to talk to these events and help inspire people and let them see that they're worth more than they see themselves as.
Man.
Giving you a whole bunch of long answers there, but
no, that's awesome. I love it. No, because that is so cool. My copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People is riddled with highlighter as well. So I'm with you. That's
awesome.
There's something about some of these books, like all that whole category of books. Yeah, just I soak those up too. I try to do it. I can't really read them really fast, so Audible seems to be my new best friend.
I love Audible.
But
Well,
however you can soak it up, right?
and that's been a really cool thing too. Like over the years, as I've read, I mean, hundreds of different personal development books.
Yeah.
Now, speaking at and co-hosting events all over the country.
Yep.
Run across John Maxwell at an event and
Oh,
going, this is one of my childhood heroes, and now we're hanging out the same event, VIP section, whatever.
what?
Les Brown is another huge speaker that I got
Yeah.
to, as a kid, reading his books and listening to his cassette tapes and stuff. And then kind of cool to be able to start.
That just dated you a little too.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hey,
yeah.
We're about the same age. I get it. You're dating me too. It's cool. It's all right. That's all right. Oh man, that's so cool. Who else have you got to meet? I mean, this is fascinating. Now I'm just like, let's go down to. You sound like you've had quite a Rolodex now.
There's been actually, if you go to Newswire magazine, check out some of the people we've featured recently. There are some just some pretty crazy ones that I not only never thought I would meet, but ones that would be paying me to be featuring them in the magazine, doing their PR and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to sound like I'm name dropping or whatever, but there's some really cool folks featured in Newswire magazine that I think you'll really enjoy reading their stories and especially not only their story, but kind of where they came from. A lot of times we're publishing articles about authors, entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, podcast hosts, people that are crushing it in life and business. People are reading about them because of the position they're at today. And then you start hearing some of their stories of how they grew up and the things that they went through, physical conditions, disability, different things. Are going, I would have never had any clue that these, people that celebrities are, I mean, these celebrities where we kind of typically put them on a pedestal thinking that they're something special or whatever, but kind of cool to be able to see, hey, these people are just like you and I. They've just decided not to use their limitation as an excuse.
Yeah.
Did you see the song that was recently featured? We took one of my quotes and put it in a
no. What is it?
A little band out of Europe. They're I'll have to look for it, but they said maybe I'll send you the link off of Instagram when I can find it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that'd be great.
One of my Instagram followers reached out. He's got a little band, and I guess not little. He's got hundreds of thousands of Spotify plays and stuff. He reached out to a whole bunch of different motivational speakers and said, "Hey, I'm not sure if I don't have much of a budget right now, but I'm looking for some kind of a motivational speaker to, go to a recording studio. I'll pay the recording studio fees, and to be able to just say some kind of an inspirational quote that I can make a song around." And it was like, I can do that. He goes, "Well, how much does it cost for a recording studio in America?" I said, "Well, I got one in my house, so we'll just I'll just do it for you and do it for free." So I sent it over, and but the quote said, "Losers use their past as an excuse. Leaders use their past as a reason to become something better."
Right.
But kind of a fun thing where he took that and turned it into a whole song, and
so cool.
Plays on Spotify.
I love it. I love that. That's really cool. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go find that now. We go look on Spotify. Let's go find the song. I'm gonna put this up here too, because if people go to mcurtismccoy.com, what are they gonna find there?
So that is, if you're looking to hire me to speak at an event or do coaching, consulting, those type of things, that's the best way to get a hold of me. Or you can just Google M. Curtis McCoy. I'm pretty much everywhere as far as social media goes.
Yeah, he's everywhere, guys. Seriously, it's you Google him and it's pretty cool. I love it.
That doesn't mean I'm special. It just means I spend too much time on the internet, I think.
Well, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? It's a delicate balance there, but no, that's cool, man. Well, I'll tell you what, I have a quote that I like that I as former guest that was on, I don't know, a few months ago. It was this right here. I've survived 100% of my hard days so far,
That's awesome.
And that's what it boils down to. I mean, everybody that's still here has survived 100% of their hard days. They're easy days, but 100% of their hard days so far. And so have you, and so have I, and that's why we're still here, and that's why and you have taken it and run with it. And I so admire that, and it's so cool to hear this story. And I'm just so glad that you were able to be here. We are already, I mean, we're done. We're out of time. This time size, it went way too fast, and I'm sure we could go for another hour, and I'd love to, but thank you for being here, man. It's been an
Appreciate you for
honor.
having me.
I appreciate it. And yeah, keep up the good work, and everybody go check this out. Newswire magazine is really cool, and really getting the word out. And Curtis, you're doing some great things, and I hope people reach out to you and are able to if for no other reason than just meet you and have a conversation. So
yeah, I'm always looking forward to connecting with new folks, and we need to get you featured in the magazine too. I'd like to share your story and stuff.
I would love that. That would be amazing. Yeah, let's talk about that. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, I would. That blows my mind a little bit, but that would be really fun. That would be that'd be really cool. I appreciate that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, yeah. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Man, we could have gone for another hour. I think that would have been fun. Anyway, I tell you what, guys, this is going to be the one. This is going to be a show that I'm going to be sharing a lot.